the podcast up and going now. We should have that together. Alrighty. Let's get them up and going. And while I'm doing this as well, don't forget Patreon members, patrons. We have our stuff up for you guys. We've been trying to make sure that we are catching up on all these different things that we missed the last couple of weeks really the last week when I took a break and took some time off. Um, so that's great. That's fine. We're thankful for that. Hold on one second. Alrighty. Looks like we got the podcast up and running. Have people sending texts in while we're trying to get started. Excited. It means that we're busy and we're continuing to do y'all's work. As we talked about, putting that systematic stuff in to where it's systemic. It's running and running and running, even if I'm not able to get to all the stuff right now. Let's get Facebook up and going, and then we're ready to start. We appreciate you, though. We appreciate everybody for being on. Thank you for your patience as we're getting set up. Amen. 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 Grand Rising chemistry. Love that name. Love the name. Chemistry. We talk about it all the time. How people don't know chemistry is chemistry. Glad you made it on time. Appreciate you. And if you don't, we got the YouTube channel, right? So we got YouTube channel, we got Patreon, we got the podcast, we got stuff on Facebook as well. At least the rising sessions, we put the evening sessions on there as well. We got to upload them though. The evening sessions aren't live on on YouTube, but we do upload them. So you guys know that there's always a way, even if you miss something with this, you always can come back on with us. But I love the name, appreciate it. Hello, what is going on? How you doing? Appreciate you. Thanks for being on today. All right, here we go. Let me finish. Let me make sure that we get Facebook up and running, and then we can go ahead and start. And thank you for your patience. And y'all keep us in your thoughts and prayers. We won't have a live this evening because it's Wednesday. So Wednesdays at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time, we take time off. For those who take Sovereignty 1 with us, remember there is no Sovereignty 1 class tonight. We're scheduled to make sure that we set up your DS11s between this week and next week. But we will have Sovereignty 2. So those who take Sovereignty 2, we will be on 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time. So just be ready for that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. Looks like we got Facebook ready to go. All right. I'm thankful and grateful to everybody. Once again, thank you to the Queen, my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. I appreciate you so much. And I'm excited about what the Most High continues to do in our lives together, especially in your life, with all the things that he's doing through your business, healing the community, the tinctures, the medicine, so many different things that you're doing, teaching people how to live better, how to be healthy, teaching me how to, be better as well. I appreciate you so much. So to everybody on all the platforms, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, podcast, thank you for being on with us again today. Hello, shalom to Beverly, Nakia, Minister Tamara, MB, Dawn, let's see, Cole, Deborah again. All right, let me see if I can pull back up. And thank you, moderators. Moderators, we're going to ask you to be on point. We got the numbers popped up all of a sudden to what our numbers kind of sort of used to look like. So just be ready. We got another. I'm looking at you guys and trusting in you guys and thankful for you guys, for you guys being there to help out and bless us. And so we're thankful and grateful for you. I know you guys got not my back, but all of our backs. If you're somebody this is on your first time, we don't mind you having any questions, comments, and concerns that you may have. Feel free to fire away with whatever questions you may have. We're asking, though, that you be respectful. That's very important, that we be respectful one to another. And, anything that's coming off as attacking people or just not being a safe space, we will have to deal with it accordingly, because we are a community, we are a family. We do look out for one another. We are trying to make sure that the diaspora is heard. We do want to hear other cultures and stuff heard, but we do make it a point to be in here to check things out. But Sister T, how you doing? Big Brother Thomas, Truth, Ransom, Marion, Betty, how you doing? You know, you got to run already, Truth. Okay, be safe out there. Knowledge, thanks for being part of the community. Appreciate you. Bounty Blessing, how you doing? If I miss you, please charge it to my head and not to my heart. Breathes. Yes, Yashua loves me very much. I appreciate that. R. Gray, Benjamin. Neighborhood B. All right, let's be a part of the community. I don't know what the B stands for. Said, should you convert to Judaism? I'm not a Jew. I'm not into Judaism. So I don't know if you'd like to, but that's not what we necessarily, we don't follow that. We are out the in culture and in people. We are also Yashleal, West African, North African, East African, Central African, ties to South Africa, you know, Taino. So you're talking about Turtle Island and stuff like that. So we're a different thought process behind it. The letter J doesn't even exist in our culture as far as our language. Hello, Ms. Blue Eyes, how you doing? And everybody, thank you so much. Shout out to everybody. Once again, shout out to the Queen Maya. All right, Amanda, everybody. If I didn't catch you, please forgive me. All right, we got a lot of people on a lot of different platforms as usual, and we're getting back up stronger or whatever. So thank you again to the moderators. We appreciate you. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Who is Master? That is the topic for today. Who is Master? Oh no, I mean, yeah. Well, Jewish people say shalom as well, but you know, our people said it first. I'm not trying to make it who said it first though, but you know, just saying. It's like when people say, you know, how can you be a Christian without studying the Bible? I mean, I'm sorry, how can you study the Bible without being a Christian? It's like, well, the word biblios just means a set of books, and the set of books are the scrolls, if you will, the safar that we read, that existed before the Bible existed. You know what I'm saying? But you know, nevertheless, so who is Master? And Sister Tracy, I'm not even gonna hold you. I thought that you were moderator before today, so I apologize for that. I really did. I was realizing today, wait a minute, she's not even a moderator. But who is Master? Y'all remember back in the day, you know, what was that? What was that movie? Was it The Last Dragon? Who is the Master? Right? And it wasn't until everybody was saying shown up, but it wasn't until the main character finally said, I am, that he began to win. Y'all remember that? It was who is the Master? Who is the Master? Dunking his head in the water, seemed like all hope was lost. Music starts building up. All of a sudden he says, I am. He begins to glow, right? All those things, right? You said never question God's word. Well, I'm not somebody who worships God. I worship Elohim. God is a Germanic deity. So once again, that's a different culture. God does not mean what you think it means. We try to go off of the original words. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Principalities are the origin. So I look for the origin of what it is when it came into, right? Like when people say Jesus isn't even the origin. To understand Jesus, you have to understand Yesus. To understand Yesus, to understand Jesus, you have to understand Yesu. To understand Yesu, you have to understand Yesus. To understand Yesus, you have to understand how demigods work, and we don't worship him as a demigod. That's why his name was Yashua. Some people try to say Yeshua or Yahabashai or Yahabashah or Yahabashai, right? But we say Yashua, Yad He, Shin Vav He. I'm sorry, Yad He, Shin Vav Ayin, excuse me. And we don't make that olive sound at the end. So we don't question the word of Elohim. But anybody who would try to put God in place of Elohim or try to say Lord instead of Yahweh or Jehovah even, we have a problem with people not being honest. So yeah, but we're talking about culturally, right? And once again, this kind of gets into what we're talking about. Who is the master, or who is master? Now, in order to comprehend the context of which I'm speaking, right, we have to make it a point to say first and foremost that master is coming from a different cultural perspective. We're not here to uplift everybody else's cultural perspective. We're here to uplift our culture and what the perspective is for our people. So when we say master, we're not talking about owner. And because people are used to other people and other platforms or other things, you know, coming up as far as culturally, we're used to people talking about somebody else's version of master. But master does not mean owner. I didn't ask who is the owner. See, because there could have been a slave owner, but the slave owner was not necessarily a slave master. Hello, Trauma Shaman, how you doing? A Trauma Shaman, right? Who is master? Master is not owner. Master and owner can be one and the same, right? And thanks for being part of the community. Is it Anotome? I'm not saying annoy team me. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Right? But master doesn't necessarily mean owner. Master means teacher. Master means teacher. You said you won't call people God anymore. Yeah. I mean, if you do, even if you come from the Kemetic perspective, I just say keep it 100 with your culture. Like if you're going to be Kemetic, they call them Netjer. Or call them Negus, call them Negus, call them Niger, call them Niger, call them Negro even. Negro is actually the most ancient West African form or term we can find for a West African tribe. See, only in America is Negro a bad thing because in America, Black's Law Dictionary, or well, only in the Western society, the world that we live in, the cosmos, the system we're in that we're not supposed to be of, only in there in Black's Law Dictionary is a Negro an artificial person. Where you come from, a Negro is a real person. And see, we're talking about who is master. Master is teacher. Who's teaching you? I take great pride in being a teacher, but in order to be a teacher, you must master what you teach. No, thank you for the compliment on the hair. Right? In order to be a master, you have to be a master of what you teach. You said they refer to babies as master here in the UK when they send out mail. Yeah, I mean that's more of a cutesy thing. Give my regards to Master Solomon. My son's name's Solomon. Give my regards to Master Solomon. That's a way of giving respect. Calling them like a young sir or young. We don't use the term gentleman, but young gentleman, so to speak, right? But we're talking about who is master. Thank you, Amanda. We appreciate it. Right. So who is master is crucial. Who is master? How you doing, Sister Christine? Who is master is crucial because who is master is not saying who owns you, right? Who is master is saying who's teaching you. All right, quick thing. Who is it? You know how people talk about all this stuff and people don't even know that technically, even in the books legally, right, you have to consummate marriage. So sex is marriage, marriage is sex. That's been in ancient times, that's in modern times, people don't know. But here's the thing. Who taught you to have sex? Yeah, we're going to start right there. Let's just go ahead in your face, right? Who taught you what marriage is? Who taught you that there's a difference between sex and marriage? Who is master? You said it was natural? Okay, well, hopefully it was. But for a lot of people, you learn from porn. From a lot of people, you listen to your friends. From a lot of people, you heard about people mentioning things on television shows. That was who taught you what you learned. They became your master. But if we go back even further than that, let's keep it 100. There were breeding camps where they would put bags over your head and they would have you be with somebody that you didn't even know. And then they would make it a point to separate the men and separate the women. Who is master? Who taught you? Who taught you that it was okay? People talk about, oh, there's such division in the Black community and blah, blah. Who taught you that division? Who taught you that it was okay for husbands to no longer be with their wives? Who literally beat the men to the point of death if they wanted to be fathers and be in their children's lives? Who was it that traded away the children that came out of the union, out of that forced union? Who taught you that it was okay to go ahead and have sex and then, hey, it's okay for me to be traded to the other plantation. I'll go ahead and leave. Everything starts with culture. Everything starts with culture. And first things first, who taught you that culturally? Who told you that was okay? Who introduced that thought process to you? Was that what you did before you were enslaved? Whether you were here on Turtle Island, whether you were here in the Americas, whether you were in on the motherland, whether you were a Moor, whether you were the original before the Brutish or the British, because that's what the word British means, British. The British Empire was the Brutish Empire. Who taught you that? Who was your master? So we get in conversations with everybody about all this different stuff. And the reality is first things first, we got to be real. Let's be honest. Let's keep it 100. Who's your master? Who's your teacher? There are degrees to this. Have you ever thought about that? And it's a Masonic principle. Right, let's deal with this where it is. It's a Masonic principle. Thanks for Uhai or 00 High, and thanks Josie, and thanks Free for being part of the community. Right, there's degrees to this. They send you to school to teach you a degree of learning. It's like Masonic people, you don't learn anything when they say, have you ever heard the third degree? First degree burns, second degree burns, third degree burns, or read me the third degree, learn to the third degree. It's a Masonic principle. Because your masters are Masons. They are people who had to get their authority through Moors, and then they basically lied and were disrespectful to the contract that was able to issue them their sovereignty. Masonic. You're dealing with degrees. You go to school, you get a degree. But to what degree did you learn? They said you got an associate's degree. Well, what are you able to associate, and to what degree can you associate? First degree nursery, there you go, right? First degree murder, all that stuff, right? What is the degree that you learn? Who's your master? Did they teach you everything? Or did they give you, did they even teach you your culture? Or did they say, we will give you the right to be able to do things as long as you do what we say? And sorry for applying shea butter. Y'all just gonna have to see me put shea butter on today. Who is your master? What, right? Why do you learn about geometry? Do you learn about geometry because you're going to use geometry? Just question. I'm on my Columbo vibe right now. Just question for you. Right? Did you learn about geometry because it's something that's necessary, or did you learn about geometry because it's something that they wanted you to have a degree of knowledge in? My wife said she never used geometry. I'm not saying you can't enjoy geometry. I'm not saying that nobody ever uses geometry. I'm saying, why is it that it's in your school? See, it's the master of that system. He wants you to know geometry. My wife said that she experienced a lot of stress over geometry and trigonometry. Yeah, I don't even know if I ever real talk, even in college. I think I dipped past it, or at least I just don't remember it. I don't know if I even did trig. Right? You said race and nationality was used by God. Then he concluded, all fall short and are made one by a perfect. Well, first of all, the concept of race is a competition. And he didn't tell us to be in competition with each other. The word race actually is a competition. Race became a competition based off of people. Now, right, eventually, but race started off as a competition. England, Russia, Prussia, Croatia, whomever, Spain, Portugal, Ireland. Well, even Ireland, maybe not even so much, but Ireland, Scotland, Wales, they were all in competition. They were in a race. That's what the race was, and then eventually it became based off of color. Now, racism is a system. ISM on any word makes it a system. So racism is a system based off of competition. Question is, what is the competition? Is the competition based off of any color? Is there any color in that competition? If so, then that's why we would say racism has something to do with color. Yahweh didn't create racism. If you want to say the social construct, what we call racist, sure. Did he allow people to be different? Of course. Just like he allows the flowers to be different. Right? Different flowers are able to heal different things. Matter of fact, all of them are edible. We just look at flowers, it's like, oh, that looks nice. Flowers are for medicine. You said, man, I'm about to fail statistics now. Why do I have to take this? All right. It said geometry is for masonry, right? That's why you learned it. That's why you learned it. You didn't learn it because it was something that was necessary. You learned it because your master, or at least in the system you're in, the master says that this is what you will learn. The master is the teacher. He sets the curriculum. Even the way we look at race through the lens of the master. Nobody even thinks, when you say race, When you say race of people, you don't even think competition of people, but that's what it is. So when they say it's the white race, because there's really no such thing as the color white. The color white isn't even a real color. Am I a Freemason? No. Do I look like a Freemason? Well, I guess looking like a Freemason doesn't mean anything. But no. Am I a Freemason? No. Do I have family members who are Freemasons? Do I know preachers that are Freemasons? Do I know people who lost, who started to lose their memory and stuff and went through things, or, started going through issues with their mind, and they started slipping up and saying things and letting cats out the bag? Have I studied Freemasonry? Sure. Have I listened to people who have come out of Freemasonry and have told the truth about what they went through? Yeah. Yeah. I've experienced that. Of course, I know what it is to see. A lot of people don't even think about it, but I know what it is to be sitting up there in the pulpit, see somebody with a Mason ring on. I know what it is to be sitting in the pulpit and see that triangle, but they just don't have the G, but they'll put a sun in place of the G, and they're telling you that they're Masons, but if you don't catch on to it, you won't know. You hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know if the point of that was to be like, have you? Yeah, but I'm not a Mason. I'm not a Mason. Don't want to be a Mason. Don't need to be a Mason. I have more authority than a Mason. And guess what? Behind the scenes, I've had Masons who came to me asking questions, and I hipped them to some of the game. Not game about what we doing, but I've hipped them to some of the game to let them know what's up, because they are seeking. A lot of them come in seeking knowledge, right? But I don't need to go to the Mason. The Mason had to learn from me. Amen. Thank you, Black Chemistry. Right? We should be the masters. You can't be sovereign and talking about, but you got another master. And you're busy learning from everybody else, being taught by everybody else, going through everybody else. You're going through everybody else's prism, but you're not going to be able to figure out melanin with somebody else. Somebody else studies your melanin to break it down. Do you know that when it comes to drugs, and when I say drugs, I'm talking about them things that you're buying or that your insurance is buying, that you got to pay some once your insurance pays some of it off, that you get a prescription for. All those drugs are only, they have to see how powerful and potent those drugs are. You know how they you know how they figure out their potency? They figure out the potency of the drug by how much melanin gets broken down. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, yes, ma'am. If it doesn't break down melanin, it's not powerful enough. That's how they look at it. They got to judge how much melanin it breaks down in order to see if they can sell it to you. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Who is your master? You thought you were going to get something that was going to help you, even though we know that if it's not an actual herb just in and of itself, holy or holistic, all the stuff within itself, not messing with the composition, they have to mess with the composition in order to own it, right? The law says that if Yahweh didn't make it, if the Most High didn't make it, the law says that they can't sell it, or at least they can't patent it. They can sell it, right? We can sell something that's natural, but we can't patent something that's natural, right? So they have to change it already to where, since it's not whole, there's going to be a leak in the side, so to speak. It's going to give you a side effect. I see you, electricacy. I don't know if I've seen that one before. I like that. Right? But they gauge to see how it breaks down your melanin. If it breaks down your melanin, if the side effects are there, if there's iatrogenic effects, then it's affecting medicine. That's the reason why we don't say don't take a vaccine just because we think that anybody who takes a vaccine is evil. We say don't take a vaccine if it's got iatrogenic effects. Now, you have the right as a sovereign, do what you do, but we're not coming from somebody else's perspective. Don't think that we're being Republican and Democrat. Don't think that we're out here trying to be Republican and Democrat out here. That's not our intent. We could care less about Republican and Democrat. We're part of a system that's greater than all that anyways. If you come on our land is a allodial. We don't have to obey anything that we don't feel like. Right? We do it legally. Well, we have sovereignty classes and stuff like that. Become sovereign is a long process. I couldn't even do that in a 3-hour discussion. Right? I couldn't, there's a lot of stuff, and then there's a lot of stuff you have to do. And sovereignty is not just on a piece of paper. Sovereignty is where your food at, where's your business at, where your people at. Like, do you live with them? You associate with them? Are you still getting benefits and privileges? Right? Like, because if you get benefits and privileges, they can still tax you on your benefits and privileges that you get. Are you living under the law? Are you dangerous to anybody else in any way, shape, or form? Like there's a lot of stuff that goes with sovereignty. And anybody that's teaching you sovereignty without first talking about, see, people want to go, I'm going to go reverse, because people only focus on sovereignty as far as public and private law, and they try to figure out procedural law and remedial law to deal with public and private law. But first things first, I'm going to go backwards. Public and private law is on the bottom. Above that is substantive law. Above that is natural law. Above that is universal law. Above that really is marital law, but people don't like that one. And then above that, on top of everything, is kingdom law. That's how law works. That's why you got to study law books. That's why you got to do some research. That's why you got to be on your grind as far as that, because law doesn't give rights, as we always say. Law what? Protects rights. And laws don't need to change. Check this out. Peak game. See, this is where you see who is your master. If you're in a system where your master, your teacher, has to keep adding law or amending the law, it means the law was never any good in the first place. It was never of any value in the first place. You said, what people did I say was over the Egyptians? I didn't say any people were over the Egyptians. I would actually talk about Kemet. And if we were talking about Kemet, if you're talking about anything I've said, the closest thing I've said ever as far as that is that the people of Kemet got their stuff from Cush, their big brothers. But I don't know who the Egyptian, I don't know which piece you're talking about or what I was saying exactly on that part. Right, but Kemet, the Kemetic people are the original people. Now you call them Egyptian because we're in the Greek stuff. And the people that live in Egypt who are over Egypt now, they have the Kemetic people still enslaved at bay. And the Egyptian people are the ones that are really more Greek and technically more Latin. Not Latin, excuse me, more Greek and more French, which is technically, I guess you could say, tied to Latin. Oh, it's just shea butter. It's just shea butter. If you want some great shea butter out here, go and check out Bev's Body Butter. We got somebody on here who does an amazing job with shea butter. Either Sister Beverly on here, or you can check out Sister Barbara on here if you're on TikTok and ask them about it and reach out to them. Amazing stuff, amazing product. We got a lot of people in here with a lot of gifts. We got somebody on here. I didn't realize how powerful they were. I went to their TikTok page and I was like, oh shoot, like they out here really doing it. We got somebody that does desserts out here. Amazing. We got a lot of people who have a lot of talents and gifts. We got people on here to do that'll help you out with social media stuff. People that are on here that help you with your admin, all that. You know, but once again, who is your master? Who is your master? See, when I hear somebody say something crazy, which is, by the way, not even factual, it's not even contextual, nor is it factual. When I see somebody out here who will say, you know what, all these black men, they ain't worth it. We need to get, they need to get themselves together. Or all these black women out here, they ain't doing nothing. They need to get themselves together. And it's like, time out. Time out. Like, who taught you that? Who told you that black men are the worst fathers on earth? That's what y'all be saying. But then let's break it down into America. You said, so the real Egyptians are ancient Kemetic people? Yeah. Kemet came first. And once again, this whole thing of Kemet, you got to put Cush in there, you know, now who we call the Nubians. But once again, who taught you that black men are the worst people on the planet? You know that black men, even if they're not in the relationship with the mothers, so also give our women a break to where we do this thing that all black women don't allow black men to see their children. Before we make that a thing too, black men, even if separated from their families, this is according to the United States of America putting this out. They said that we are the most involved in our children's lives out of any ethnic group, out of any culture. That's right. The wicked beast. They taught us that. The government taught you that. Now, who's the master of the government? You know, who is the master of the government? That's what you got to start asking yourself, because it's the government. They govern you. For example, why do you hate kingdoms when the best period of your time for you as a people came underneath kings? Why do you think that you're in a system? Who is master? You got to become master. You got to become teacher. Because you're in a system that says that kings are terrible or tyrants. But the greatest time you ever had Rothschilds and one, sure. The British could be, the Americans, or well, modern Americans, because the original American is different than the modern American. But who's teaching you is crucial. People get on me, why would you get into the white man's thing and this and that? Why do you look at the Bible or whatever? You know, the Bible existed and it's in a different form. See, most people never read a Bible. So you hear the word slave in the Bible, you don't even know the word slave didn't even exist until Slavic people were made slaves. What are you talking about? You're talking about the firmament and all this stuff. The word firmament, that's a Greek god. I'm not under a firmament. I'm under Rakia. You don't even know the difference because somebody else taught you outside of your people. Well, in debt to the queen, also real talk. Who taught? See. Well, I could bounce around so many places, right? But we have been taught by people for so long, as we talked about yesterday, that they disrespect you, and we have gotten so used to disrespect that we don't even look at context from within ourselves. So somebody tells you, you know, this black man right here, he was the first person to do brain surgery, blah, blah. Or this black man right here, he was the first one to do heart surgery. It's like, man, they were doing that back in Kemet 4,000 years before Christ was born. What are you talking about? Thanks for being part of the community, Rude. Like, what are you talking about? Who is your master? Who's been teaching you this? You know, sisters ain't nothing. All sisters got attitude, this and that, or whatever. Who taught you that? Look, white sisters who are on, I'm just making a statement, okay? I'm not saying I hate you. I'm not saying that you are despicable. I don't do, I'm not saying any of that, but I want you to hear what I'm saying. Feminism is not even for black women. Susan B. Anthony hated black women and black men, right? Margaret Sanger, white woman, tried to kill off Jewish people and black people through now what we just simply call abortion and women's rights. That's where that started. And by the way, it really didn't start there because they were doing it to black women where they were literally just having abortion so they could study the fetus, whether the woman survived or not. Moderators, be ready. Today we gonna get it in. You hear what I'm saying? Like, and these same people who will tell you that black women are the problem, and these same black men who will say black women are the problem won't even admit that it wasn't who benefited most from affirmative action. That would be white women. And who were the ones who were the most publicly, vehemently against affirmative action? It would be white women. You know why? Because white women got the most out of it and then didn't want anybody else to get anything else out of it, even though it's supposed to be for black people. So they said specifically, every time black people came close to getting it, they said, see, black people, you guys are evil if y'all want affirmative action. Meanwhile, they were busy getting affirmative action. Not fighting your cause. And then today, while we're talking about go and marry all these white women, I'm not saying all white women are evil. Let me make it a point to say again, right? Let me also make it a point to say I'm not giving legal advice today. Let me also make it a point to say I'm not giving financial advice today, right? When I talk on anything, I'm just talking about contextual facts. Let's put that out there, okay? So I'm not here doing your reverse racism thing, if that's even a such thing. Nevertheless, if you're going to talk about this, you got to be honest. You got to be honest. You got to be honest. See, you got to see who your master is. Who is it that it gets more black men hemmed up throughout history? Is it black women calling the police on black men? Even if black men are disrespectful and beating them and cussing them out, is it black women who are hemming us up, putting us in jail? Or is it black women that are hiding us, usually in their homes? Our mothers, our sisters, our exes, our baby mamas that don't want to see us get. Sometimes baby mamas getting jail time for you, so you don't have to worry about anything. It's not black women tears that get police officers to beat up black men and to put us in jail and to shoot us. It's white women tears, if you want to use that social construct. You said, sorry, I've never called the police on anybody. That's great, Lisa. That's why I said I'm not saying all white women, am I? I'm making a point to talk about the social construct. And who is master? The word master means teacher, who taught us these things, right? So I'm glad you didn't. So you don't have to say sorry. If you didn't, you didn't, right? We're not here to make anybody feel intimidated. We're here to just talk about contextual facts. Who is it that taught you that it was wrong for you, sisters, to wear your hair at work and then started wearing your hair at work? Who is it that taught you it was wrong for you to have them hips and then all of a sudden started making sure that they got outfits to make sure that they could have them hips, or started getting surgeries, or even before then started having these wood wire constructions to make sure that they look like they had booties and stuff, but they told you your booty was bad? Right? I'm talking about who is master. Who's the one that even told you there was a such thing as a white person? Because white people didn't even identify as white people. Who had to teach you that that was a thing? Thank you for the love, Sister Sharice. And thank you for the likes, the shares, the gifts, all that great stuff. We appreciate you. Matter of fact, white women, let's be real with this. White women, who are the ones that taught you that you needed to even go into feminism? Was it black men that were running the show and were holding you down? You said, who made languages? Well, I would just simply bring your attention to the universe. If you know what the word universe means, like we could go deep into that particular, that's not the focus of today. But the universe is uni a verse single spoken sentence. If you're in a universe, you're in a single spoken sentence. The question is, who spoke the sentence into existence? That's where language started. It started with somebody who had to already have a language. And language, by the way, only 7% of it is communication. Anyway, I mean, I'm verbal communication, right? So communication, only 7% of it is verbal. Yeah, why is the clothing always tight and short? See, we think it's just, oh, we'll have some brother come up with some, man, these girls always wearing tight clothes and this and that. Well, unless they can go to a black boutique, right? They have to wear what other women wear. Because if you don't have a system, that's why we're working on our own land, Yah's Land Project, and getting that together, and having people invest and trying to figure out different things behind the scenes. And we're getting blessed with some other people that are connecting with us now, because our goal is to make sure at some point you got to have your own. If you don't have your own, you can't even talk about micronation food sovereignty correctly. If you're in the land of your captivity, you can't even do your holy days. That's why you know more about George Washington's birthday than you know about Pasach or Passover. You ready? You can't wait for George Washington's birthday because maybe you can get off, but you don't know nothing about Passover. You think that Passover is communion, and it's nice, it's cute, but that's not what it is. You hear what I'm saying? Just you tall girl, and you love it, but these American clothes hate tall women. Who made man? The same person that spoke the universe into existence. I don't know how far we're going to keep on going with that, but at the end of the day, right? Who is your master? Who is your master? Who made the calendars? All those things. Okay, alrighty. I guess we're talking about us, right? Or we're talking about Elohim, right? So, and knowledge is power. Knowledge means to be intimate with. Remember, we were talking about heavily yesterday into the intellectual quotient, IQ. Remember, the IQ test came from somebody who was trying to make sure, see how race starts. And we got to don't only think about race as far as black and white, right? The IQ test actually started first in France, where there was a person who was trying to make sure that what he considered to be country folk, he didn't want them to have privileges to that what he considered to be real French people should have. So he set up an intellectual quotient. And you got to understand, intellect is what? It's information. Intel is just information. You think intelligence is something else. They've taught you that intelligence is some other thing. No, it's information. If I have spiritual intelligence, I'm talking about spiritual information. If I have African intelligence, I'm talking about African information. If I have Shui intelligence, right? Before somebody says Africa's a whole continent. Yeah, I know. All right. But if I have Shui intelligence, if I have Afrik intelligence, if I have Kemetic intelligence, if I have Sioux intelligence, if I have Taino intelligence, if I have Aztec intelligence, all I'm saying is I have information. And once I recognize that I have the information, the next thing up is now I get into a place where I go, okay, so am I going to use the information that I have? How do I use it? And do I use it to govern myself, my family, my culture, my people, my steps? My steps are ordered by my information. When it says in the Bible something like the steps of a righteous man are ordered by Yahweh or by Adon, by the Lord, what we're saying is the steps of the righteous man, the steps of the righteous man, the steps of those who are in right legal standing have to be ordered by the information that comes from the one who's in right legal standing. That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. Right? Like you had if we're talking about this, the righteous steps, right legal steps, right legal standing steps, we're talking about steps that have to come with proper information. And we are missing the information because our teachers are not us. Do I believe that love is the purpose of life? No. I mean, if you're saying it's part of purpose, see, I know we go by vision, purpose, value here. Vision is what you see afar off. Purpose is what you do every day to get towards that vision. And then value, VPV, vision, purpose, value. So vision, I see it afar off. Purpose, what I do every day, and then value. Right. Matter of fact, love is not an emotion. So if we're talking about love, love is an action. I cannot like somebody and still love them. Right. So